And you say Kurt Cobain is your hero because he had the balls to shoot himself.
That's correct.
That is correct.
Yeah. Is this a depressed guy or what?
Are you more depressed than me?
I think I'm repressed.
No, you're a little depressed, right?
Sometimes.
Have you gone to a psychiatrist for this problem?
Yeah, but he told me I was crazy. He told me to get out.
He did. He even didn't want to deal with you. No one wants to deal with you.
No laughing.
Loving you was like loving the dead. Loving you was like loving the dead.
All right, people, it's Halloween, and you know what that means. Obnoxious goth girls are going to be creaming their fishnets like it's never always this month. And speaking of obnoxious goth girls, they must have something going on because the band we'll be discussing today is my personal favorite out of their playlists. Now, when you think this show, you probably don't think Typo Negative, as their material kind of embodies what I've said I don't like about certain songs. But come on, people. Come on, it's Typo motherfucking Negative. Even if you're a more happy, dare I say medicated person, you can still be entranced by the crunchy riffs, stellar songwriting, and cold atmosphere. So let's all chant, "You suck!" at Typo Negative.
On the first album,
Okay.
all right, the whole first album was about your desire to kill your girlfriend and then kill yourself. You have always had fantasies of killing yourself and killing your girlfriend. Is that true?
More or less.
Typo Negative was formed by the mountain of a man that was Peter Steele after the breakup of his former band, the almighty Carnivore, whose self-titled debut and Retaliation are, for my money, essential goddamn listening. However, after Carnivore's disintegration, Peter Steele really wasn't in the business of making a new band. He actually wanted to become a police officer, until he realized that he'd probably have to arrest a lot of his friends, so he took up a job he really liked with the New York City Parks Department, until drummer and friend Saul Abruscato suggested they form another band, and Typo Negative was born, even though that wasn't the original name.
Trying to think of something a bit original, it's something cold and dark that had to do with the mood of the band, and Sub-Zero occurred to me. So hence the symbol I came up with, the O with the negative, and there's -0. But once again, someone beat us to it, and they had rights to the name. So after getting this stupid thing tattooed on ourselves, it was up to me to think of a name. So I don't normally listen to the radio, but there was a request for Typo Negative blood by the Red Cross. And so I was like, well, that's it, Typo Negative.
Signing to Roadrunner Records. Why the italics?
And, at the time, we were trying to get a record deal, and then Peter was already previously signed to Roadrunner for Carnivore, and they just stepped in and, you can't sign to anybody but us. So, and we're like, okay, we're gonna make the record over again. Nope.
The lineup of Steele, Abruscato, guitarist Kenny Hickey, and keyboardist Josh Silver would cut a demo that Roadrunner themselves would release as slow, deep, and hard. Now, to call this a through-and-through Typo Negative album would be a lie to your face. Don't get me wrong, like all debuts, the band's defining characteristics are in their infancy, Josh's keyboards and the slower, doomier sections, but it is filled to the brim with Carnivore influences. And you know what? That is alright by me, because I love Carnivore, and I love slow, deep, and hard. I love everything about it, really. I love the raw production. I love the band's humor and based opinions. I love how the album cover is a close-up, grainy picture of me with your mother. And I love unsuccessfully coping with the natural beauty of infidelity and screaming at the top of my goddamn lungs.
I know you're fucking someone here.
The themes of anger and betrayal on songs like this one and Zero Tolerance strike a chord in me, and without getting as personal as Peter on this record, it does keep it spinning whenever I think of the ones who broke my heart. Slow, Deep, and Hard is the rawest album based on a broken relationship not written by a 16-year-old me. Oh, thank God those songs were not released to the public. But what could Typo do in an actual studio setting? Oh, baby.
Let's just say from like 86, 87 to like 89 or 90, I started to listen to a lot of different music, like The Cure, Curve, Lycia, Simple Minds. You know, people want to call that pussy music. Well, you know what? You call me a pussy, you are what you eat.
After having a, let's just call it interesting time in Europe, you know, as interesting as protests and negative repercussions to Peter Steele jokes can be, the band took it all in stride and used it to their advantage on their rework album, Origin of the Feces, whose original cover, as much as I'd love to show it to y'all, would get me banned off this platform at the speed of sound. But trust me, it's hilarious. But new material would soon come bellowing after, and that would be the sophomore seducer, Bloody Kisses. Now the typo sound is coming together. The dark yet lush soundscape, the Sabbath-esque riffs, Peter and Kenny's awesome vocals, especially Peter. You know, I heard a rumor that Peter Steele could get women pregnant by just singing to him, and when I hear him on songs like the classic Christian Woman and my personal favorite track, We Hate Everyone, I believe it. It's just a killer album with killer material. Too Late Frozen, the famous black #1 that brought in the very goth chicks it was making fun of, Bloody Kisses of Death in the Family, Kill All the White People. I mean, I could just list off every single track on this thing. It's a goddamn masterpiece. And it also got the band offers to tour. If you had told me before I did the research on this video that Motley Crue got this band to platinum selling numbers, we'd be looking like the two broads on the goddamn cover.
Motley Crue asked you to go out. You were like, what are you, crazy?
How is this gonna work?
At us. How is it gonna be? No way, no way. He says, do it.
It'll be good for you guys. You guys should definitely do it.
And that's it.
Reluctantly, we did, and that's what put us on the map.
We went from selling 50 albums a week to selling 2,000 albums a week. I'm like, in 1 week.
Despite Peter not taking the band seriously at this time, it was serious enough that Saul Abruscato either left the band or was fired from it, it's one of those things, and was replaced by Johnny Kelly. And then the band went on a goddamn tear of name-making shows and appearances, the most infamous one being the Playgirl incident. Well, to breeze through this as fast as I can, basically Peter Steele was given a lot of pages in Playgirl for Sexiest Rock Star, and he's like, I'll do it, as long as I'm rock hard all the way through. And if you ever wanted to know what Peter Steele's peen looked like, well, you got the purple bloated aftermath of hours of keeping it up to look at.
When I did that stupid Playgirl thing back in '95, we had a signing, and I would open it up. Hey, I know that dick. And one time this guy and like the band sitting next to me, signing typo stuff too. And so the guy hands me the Playgirl thing, and I tilt it, and fucking cum drips out from the fucking middle right onto my lap.
The band were on the rise, which meant more touring responsibilities and more music.
That strikes you as rather strange. I mean, are you up there playing, women are dancing, going crazy, throwing themselves at you, trying to meet you backstage? What do you think of these women?
Well, it's odd to me because this is my job. I'm not here to have a good time. I'm here to pay my phone bill and, pay the rent. If they want to throw themselves at me, well, that's their business.
And do you take them up on it? Do you sleep with some of them? Have sex with some
I'm
of them?
going to have to take the Fifth Amendment on that.
With the band sound reaching full bloom, Peter Steele made a conscious decision to take the band down that darker gothic path, while also attempting to bring some more female fans along for the ride. With his perfectionism at an all-time high, while they did hire new drummer Johnny Kelly, the drums on this album and the next two are programmed. And honestly, I didn't really notice, and it does make me feel a little bit better about using programmed drums on my material, because like I've said before, good songs will withstand any production job you throw at them, and the songs on October Rust, Oh man, I don't give a shit if this is a chick album. I'll chop my dick off and slap on a pair of tits for that dark yet fucking spacious production job and those more melodic tracks. The opening songs, Love You to Death and Be My Druidess, are hauntingly beautiful and on a lyric standpoint really relatable for yours truly. Actually, discussing the lyrics for a beat, I find it weird that this is supposed to be the chick album because the lyrics on this album are so goddamn crazy. Even the band thought so. Like, for example, take a song like Wolf Moon. Now, what do you think that's about? Well, I'm not gonna fucking let you guess. I'll let you know what it's about. It's fucking weird. It's about a man eating out his girlfriend on her period and turning into a goddamn werewolf. Now, not every song has lyrics like Wolf Moon, but they do have some sus lines that make me wonder what the hell was going on in Peter Steele's brain when he was writing them. But you know what? The atmosphere of those tracks forgave any head-turning lyrics. I mean, you got songs like Red Water, Christmas Morning, My Girlfriend's Girlfriend, Die With Me, Haunted, like, oh my Jesus, this album. But the best track has gotta be In Praise of Bacchus. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass when I say this is far and away my favorite Typo Negative album, but despite having incredible melodies, powerful vocals and instrumentation, and, you know, an awesome music video for My Girlfriend's Girlfriend as well as consistent road work, it somehow sold less than Bloody Kisses, and that will never not weird me out. October Rust, fucking perfection. Next.
I have my supply of vitamins here. That's usually pretty cool. Hold on a second. It's a lot of fun going through customs with this, and from time to time you may get someone who actually pops one of these into their mouth to see if they're full of cocaine or heroin or some other shit like that, which of course they're not. They're just very expensive but legal chemicals.
I tell you folks, it was not a good time to be Peter Steele. Around October Rust, this once beefy, healthy man began indulging in drugs and alcohol.
You know, I was a very clean person. I mean, well, not that, you know,
Not
kind
today.
of clean. Yes, I am clean today.
You look like you shaved.
Well, once a month, whether I need it or not. Yeah. But and if I could fall into, you know, drugs and alcohol, I think that anybody can. So I just, you know, would like to warn our fans, like, walk with me, but don't follow me.
Substance abuse is one thing, but when your father and a lot of your close friends die in such a short period of time, it's a whole new level of depressing. So it should come as no shock that World Coming Down is the darkest of the dark when it comes to this band. No songs about getting Red Wings here, just death, depression, and drugs. From the opening clangs of white slavery, you're dragged deeper and deeper down with every track. Even more catchier affairs like Peretta Blaze and Everyone I Love Is Dead are just disheartening to listen to.
Everyone I love is dead.
Peter put all of his personal pain into the pen. Now, if you recall in my Alice in Chains retrospective, I said I really didn't like the self-titled album because it was so down in the dumps. And you're probably thinking, oh, are you going to say that about World Coming Down? Actually, no. Despite all the personal issues, Peter can still rock the bass and vocals, Kenny riffs out like a motherfucker, and Josh adds that eerie gravitas that is textbook Typo Negative. This album is amazing and the songs are stupendous. Who Will Save the Sane, the title track, Everything Dies, but oh my god, Creepy Green Light, what a fucking song. It's way darker than October Rust, and even Slow Deep and Hard. but it's just so raw and real. World Coming Down is an amazing album. Listen to it. But the hits just kept on a-coming, with Peter delving deeper into drug and drink, and that Beatles medley at the end of the album costing him a pretty penny. Would the material get darker? Well, yes and no.
Tentatively due out in April, I believe, right?
That's kind of very optimistic. I would imagine more like May or something like that. Do you want to know what it sounds like, or do you even care? Because I know you don't care about nothing, do you?
No, but since you mentioned it, why don't you just move on?
The difference between World Coming Down and Life is Killing Me, at least when it comes to the music, is like night and goddamn day. Oh yeah, the lyrics are still very, very depressing. I mean, come on, this album's called Life is Killing Me. What do you think it's gonna be about, fucking puppies and rainbows? But from the opening killer track, I Don't Wanna Be Me, the tempos are taken up a notch, and there are way more hooks, harkening back to the slow, deep, and hard, and even carnivore style of songwriting, but with that emotional maturity accrued over all those typo negative albums. Tracks like the title track and How Could She fit that description to a T, but you've also got some killer typo negative style gothic songs like A Dish Best Served Coldly and my personal favorite, Anesthesia. The expert blend of new and old makes this album an essential listen when it comes to this band. But who am I fucking kidding? It's typo goddamn negative. Every album is essential listening. Listen to Life is Killing Me. If only the life of the person who wrote this album was just as awesome. You know, as if substance abuse and your friends and dad dying weren't bad enough. His mother was sick around the time, and he recently broke up with a 10-year-long girlfriend. He felt like he lost a soulmate, and trust me, I can fucking relate. But there was one silver lining. He was finally free of Roadrunner Records. Signing with SPV Records, the band would release what would sadly become their swan song.
This next album to sound more like a hardcore album, but the stuff that I've been writing lately is kind of like Pink Floyd meets Black Sabbath. So it's like Stink Floyd.
He just wanted the last 5 albums
This
to be a
stuff
hardcore
you've
album.
been writing for the last 15 years.
You've
wanted it to be
a hardcore album for like the last 8 albums.
I'm like a broken record. I'm like a broken record. I'm like a broken record.
Alright, you ready? Hardcore.
Take what Peter Steele was doing on Life is Killing Me, up at about 100 notches, and baby, you've got Dead Again. A raw, almost return to roots record for the band. From the opening 2 tracks, the title track and Tripping a Blind Man, wowzers, we've gone full circle. Sorry. And you've also got your tried and true typo negative songs like September Sun. But baby, I know I said this band's the exception to the rule, and a lot of my favorite tracks have been long ones. But come on, you know me, I can't hate on songs like Some Stupid Tomorrow and Ode to Locksmiths, and my personal favorite track, Halloween in Heaven. I just fucking can't.
Halloween in heaven! It's good to sing hell, hell, hell! Halloween in heaven!
I actually wrote this song, Halloween in Heaven, for Dimebag Darrell. And so that song is about old dead rock stars. And I didn't want to mention his name because I didn't want it to appear that Typo Negative or Peter was exploiting Darrell, because he was a very close friend with the band, and he was actually one of Kenny's best friends. And you know, like when you don't see somebody for months at a time, it's hard to believe that you're never going to see them again.
Dead Again is just a stupendous album. The arrangements are as killer as ever, the vocals and instrumentation are top notch, especially with Johnny Kelly actually playing the drums on this thing. It's just a shame that this would be the last Typo Negative album, because despite being sent to jail and then the nut house to curb his addictions by his family, Peter Steele, despite becoming very religious, would continue to drink before and on stage, and then in 2010, the man, the myth, the legend, would tragically pass away. Just one of the many tragic metal deaths to plague 2010. Now, Peter's life was crazy. We all know this. But from people who knew him, he was apparently a very kind and caring person. A textbook definition of you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Rest in peace, you beautiful man. Well, that does it for another episode of the Retrospective. This one was long overdue. I am very sorry, people. I've been very, very busy. But trust me, I will get you guys another Retrospective sooner rather than later. But until then, I'm Liam Winfield. Keep on rocking.
I mean that if people choose not to work, if they choose not to contribute to society, why should they have a voice? And why should they have a say in what goes on? If you're not contributing, then you must be taking away.
That's a very right-wing point of view.
Well, you can call it what you want, but, you know, I come from a background where I feel that the average person, normal people, work for a living. They don't, you know, live off the government's back. They don't live off anybody's back. They have pride. They stand on their own 2 feet. If a person chooses not to work, that's fine. But don't go in and, you know, collect benefits because you're too lazy to get up out of bed. I have to wake up for work at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, get my ass out of bed into the freezing cold because I have pride. And yet I pay taxes so some slob can sit in bed watching cartoons while I'm out cleaning up for them. That's my point.